we get into tonight's game, I got a fun story I can tell you guys. I killed a lawnmower the other day, like straight up. I detonated one. I was out mowing a field, and this was first of all, let me set the stage. This lawnmower is a piece of shit. It has an oil leak that costs. It would cost more to have it serviced to fix the oil leak in parts and labor than it would to just continuously buy $3 quarts of oil from the hardware store to keep filling up the engine with oil once every couple months. This is what we're working with here. And as time has gone on, it has been proven to be more and more unreliable. Until finally, I was out mowing the lawn, and it started to smoke, which was not new to me, so I killed the engine, and I figured I would just wait for about 15 minutes. So I let, I was listening to Spotify on my phone, I let a couple songs play out, didn't think anything of it, turned it back on, it fired up just fine, started mowing grass again, and then an exterminator truck pulled up at my residence. And this happens really often because the streets where I live are very weird and they're not GPS friendly. So I see him pull up and he gets out of his car and he looks confused and he sees that the garage is open and sees that I'm mowing grass, so he kind of like waves me down, and I turn off the blades and I drive over to him and I say, can I help you? And he asks if my name is Steven, and I'm like, nope. And then he asked, is this such and such? And I said, nope. That's the street, caddy corner here. If you just make a 90-degree turn right behind the property here, that's that street, and then it kind of jettisons through a couple of intersections really strangely. He was very thankful that I was helpful in explaining our poor city planning. And then as soon as I sat back down on the tractor and turned it on, it didn't start. It didn't even try to start. But the guy getting in the car immediately stopped and got out and said, "Whoa, you got a fire on the front of that thing." And I was like, uh-oh. And I looked under I peeked under where the hood was, and I was like, sure enough, there were wisps of fire coming out from the front of it. I was like, oh, fuck. So I ran back in the garage, because we have a fire extinguisher, but not at the moment because my dad took it to a job site, so we don't have a fire extinguisher in the garage. Or if we do, it's been moved, and I was not informed of where it was moved to. So I ran back outside. I was like, I think it's been taken to a job site. We don't have a fire extinguisher anymore. So then he was like, well, hang on, I've got one in the trunk of my car, but it's been, it's already been used. He had this little tiny fire extinguisher, and he'd sprayed it. By now, the flames have gotten up underneath the engine and are coming through the engine. I'm like, all right, I think we kind of bought the farm on this one. And he hosed it down, and it wasn't enough to put the blaze out. So then I called 911 to get a hold of the fire department, and I was like, we have a lawn tractor that's on fire that has a full tank of gas in it. So here's where I am. Here's and like 2 fire trucks came out, and they came out with like the chemical extinguishers for because by now the oil leak the oil leak was a problem because fire wouldn't go out because the fire made the oil leak worse. So now there was oil coming out of the engine that was just igniting and burning very slowly and cooking all of the electronics, the lights, dead. Starter motor, dead. As the fire was consuming it all. The accelerator and brake, dead. And what was worrying me was that the oil fire was spreading along the fuel line, and I was like, if it hits the back of this tractor, we are fucked. But the engine kept reigniting because the oil, it was so hot, it was at the flash point of the oil that was leaking out, so it would keep coming on fire. So then they had another they had to hit it with, not with the, when I say the hose, not I don't mean like I don't mean like that. I mean fire trucks have hoses with less intense pressure than the ones that they put out house fires with. They came out and just fucking sprayed it down to lower the temperature of all the stuff so that the metal and everything wasn't automatically at the flash point for the oil, so that it wouldn't keep reigniting itself. And then they sprayed it again and made sure that it was out. They have a thermal gun to make sure that no part of it was hot enough for the oil to just reignite. And when all was said and done, there was just a fucking smoldering lawnmower with the hood popped open, just parked in the middle of a field. After all was said and done, and the fire was under control, and we avoided catastrophe by not letting the fire hit the fuel tank, I called my dad and I tried to make light of the situation. I was like, "Hey, Dad, I got some good news and I got some bad news." Mind you, my dad's at work and he hates his fucking job. He doesn't have any time for games. And he was like, "What?" And I said, "The good news is you're going to get a new riding lawnmower." And he immediately knew something was wrong. He was like, "What the fuck did you do?" Like, just completely deadpan serious, like, "What the fuck did you do?" And then I said, "Well, that's because the bad news is your old one was on fire." And I was like, "But the good news is I've already talked to my insurance company. This whole property is covered by my renter's policy, which does cover fire, and they will cover this, which is why you're getting a new lawnmower out of the deal." So, when all's said and done, we're getting $1,000 from my insurance to pay for a new lawnmower. I don't get to see any of that money. I mean, which is fair, because it wasn't even my lawnmower. It was just stored at my place. And so, therefore, you know, it was governed under my insurance policy. So, you know, that's just the way it works. But, yeah, so that check is coming in the mail. And when it does, I'm just going to co-sign it and just give it to my father and be like, "Here you go, man. Have fun. Go down to Home Depot or something and buy a good one." You know, basically, I mean, it kind of worked out. Mowers are not that expensive. So, essentially, getting a $1,000 check, it's almost like getting a $1,000 rebate off of anything that's on the shelf. So suddenly, that $1,700 double wide, you know, double bladed riding lawnmower, suddenly it's only $700, brand new, off the lot. And it's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. And all it took was a very scary scenario and one guy who was at the wrong place at the right time, who let me know that as soon as I tried to start it, it caught fire. I wouldn't have noticed until it started smoking again, like proper black on fire smoke. So I don't even know what would have happened if that wasn't pointed out. I don't even know what would have happened if, I don't know how much time we bought by him hitting it with his little mini fire extinguisher. Maybe he helped me buy just enough time for the fire trucks to arrive so that it didn't hit the fuel tank and we didn't have a Hollywood explosion go off in the field. Because, I mean, A, that would have been cool, but B, that would have been terrifying, and C, it probably would have damaged things surrounding it and caused fire to start spreading just across the field, because that's what fire does in grassy fields. So it would have made the situation way worse, and I'm glad that it didn't hit the fuel tank. So I told my dad, "Benjamin, I guess the grass isn't cut now, though." No, it's not. But that's Necro. Nothing of value was lost besides the old lawnmower. What we're going to do is we're going to take the old battery out of it, because the old 12-volt battery was not damaged in the fire. The flames did not get to that part of it. They didn't get that high. So we're going to take that out. I'm going to convince my dad to let me take the starter motor off. The wiring on the starter motor has melted, but I feel like the starter motor itself is probably still good, and that's a good BattleBot part right there. And that's really it that we're probably going to be able to salvage from it. The lights are dead. There's no point in taking the lights. I mean, I'm keeping the blades. The blades are dulled, but I'm keeping the blades, because also BattleBot parts. So, you know, there's that. And then we're also going to siphon out the gas and hang on to that. So there's that.